Hey YouTube, today's barbecue day. Gonna throw on some pork shoulder and some beef rib, and what a nice day it is out here today. I'm getting tired of using gas, so thought I'd go into my old barrel smoker. Got about 10 pounds of charcoal there, all set up, and about 6 to 10 charcoal briquets I lit up separate and laid on top. That's gonna wick down like a fuse. Got some mesquite, a little bit of hickory chunks there. It's gonna be nice. But I'll show you how I set this thing up and show you how it's all gonna go together. And a great day for barbecue. Now, I'll be right back. We're waiting for this barrel to come up to temperature. As you see, it's about 175. It's getting there. We're shooting for maybe 275, 250 right now. But where I left it last time is had the lid off and I set up the charcoal briquettes. So now that I've done that, I went ahead and put in the Weber grill. That sits down there about 11 inches into the barrel, the head of the barrel, top of the barrel. Alright, so that gets warmed up with the charcoal briquettes, and then you can go ahead and get her cleaned off with a brush and get her ready to go. So she's ready to go, and you put the lid back on this thing. Now, a couple ways I can do it. I just pulled the barrel out for the season, decided to use it today. So down to the bottom you see a knockout hole next to that screw. There's 3 of those all the way around it, and we go around onto this side. That one's empty down there, and down on this side you'll actually see there's one right there. Okay, so I have another one, or actually I have a whole bunch. Those are used to regulate heat in this drum. So typically when I'm lighting the coals up, I'll put that lid on and I'll let the coals come up to temperature to 225 to 50, and then once they hit 250 I'll start putting the bungs in, or the knockouts, the electrical knockout pieces there. I'll just tap them in. I'll put 2 in, start off with, and then 15 minutes later I'll watch that temperature and make adjustments as needed. So if it starts falling around 200 degrees, I'll pull one out and come back in a half an hour and look at it. It should be stable around 220, 230. If it starts heading towards 250, I'll put one back in and just play that low and slow game with the smoker. But yeah, you guys, this is all built up. I put this all together, no big deal. Sorry about the old barrel, getting a little rusty there. Looks like she needs some sand and some paint, but I'll get this set up and show you when we get the meat on, and that'll be the next step. I'll be back. Alright guys, we're getting this thing up to temperature here. Actually showing about 220 now. We had it right about up to this temperature, a little bit more, and we went ahead and put our meat in. Now, some of these smokers actually vary a little bit. Oh, I just want to show you. Here's my screwdriver, of course, but my electrical knockout KCO fitting, and that's basically what I use to regulate heat. Punch them in, pull them out with a screwdriver there. So right now I've got 1 in, 2 are out, and that's going to be the front one down there is going to be my one that I can see from the kitchen and see if I need to regulate the temperature at all. But this thing is smoking nice. For a nice breezy day, it's smoking real good. Hope you can see that on YouTube. And it's smelling good because we got the pork shoulder in there. I'll show you guys that too. And she's in there, nice and rubbed down for, yeah, overnight at least. So close to 24 hours. Say about 20 hours. Just had that rub on her. Just chilling in the fridge. It's been out room temperature for about an hour. And in the Barbie. So, guys, when you open and close your lid, you're going to lose the heat. You're going to lose a lot of heat real fast. So you probably don't want to open and close the lid a lot. But the nice thing about this barrel smoker is just the way it works. I'll tell you, that big old pork shoulder in there, in my propane tank smoker, this thing's going to take 12 hours easy, 12, 14 hours to smoke that bad boy. In this smoker, it's going to be done in about 8 hours. So it's about 10 in the morning, a little after 10 in the morning, putting her in, and I'll let you know when she's done. But I don't know, but it's done that every time. It's direct heat, but it's indirect because you're so far off. It's convection, but it's convectron, so you have the direct heat, you have heat going around, and I tell you, it has not failed me as far as being able to cook fast, smoke fast. And I mean that relative, guys. I mean, it's going to take 8 hours, and that's a long time. Enough time to get a few beers in, watch a game, play some videos, play with your kids, you know, do whatever you need to do. Is watch your temperature. Make sure that doesn't get above 250 degrees per se. It can for a little while. No big. And it may. And that's when you just want to go ahead and you see it around 275. Just kick another one of those knockouts in. And let her hang for half an hour or so and come out and check her and make sure she didn't get too low. So I'm going to share this process with you guys throughout the day. Tell you a little bit about this smoker. I really dig the ease of my propane. My my big Smoky Mountain, Great Outdoors Smoky Mountain GOS Sim Big Block. Man, I can put racks and racks of ribs in there, and it does a great job. Fantastic job. This is a little bit more difficult to set up with the charcoal and emptying it out and everything out, but it's worth it. Again, I haven't used this smoker for a while, and I want to tell you how this works out. Just make sure that it's everything that I remember it being. But as you can see, it's just smoking away. And you know what, guys? The drippings from this pork shoulder, pork butt, ribs, whatever you're going to be smoking, that's going to drip right down in them coals, and them coals are going to bring the flavor right back up into that whatever you're barbecuing, okay? So we're going to try to keep this about 220, 225, 230 all day, see what we come up with. I'm also putting some big beefy center ribs in there, but they're not going to take as long, so they're going to go in there a little bit later, and I'll just keep you guys apprised and see what's going on. Okay, see you in a little while. Alright guys, it's been about an hour now. Smoke's rolling out of there just fine. You see the temperature is about 225 degrees. Perfect. Ended up putting a knockout in there, and this thing's just cruising along. It got too close to 240, 250, because it was a big giant piece of meat, cold, basically, that I just put in there. That's why I put the knockout in. And you can see, after an hour, it's just cruising along, smoking along nicely. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make up a spritz or a mop or a wash, whatever you call it. Apple juice, some spices, and mop it, spritz it. But I'm not going to touch this for a couple hours. I'm going to probably wait another hour before I even flip it, because I want those spices to build up a crust, okay? And what's going to happen if I handle it too early to try to flip it, I'm just going to rub them right off. So I'm going to get a crust built up, so 2 hours on this side. I'm not going to even open up the heat. lid, guys, and show you, because I just want her to cruise. She's doing such a good job right now, and I'm just going to leave her alone. So another hour on this side, then I'm going to flip it. Hour and a half, 2 hours on the other side. Should have a nice crust built up, and then we'll go ahead and start spritzing her to keep the moisture in there, to add moisture, etc., and add the beef ribs. Check you out in a little bit. Okay, guys, it's been about 2.5 hours. I told you I'd flip it about 2. So I went ahead and flipped the shoulder at 2.5 hours, and I went ahead and added the beef ribs now. And you want to do this relatively quick. You see the smoke coming up? Because if you leave that lid off, your temperature is going to increase. So you want to get the lid on and off so you can not have to worry about your temperature regulation as much. Just get the lid on. Yeah, I'll get back with you guys in a minute. Alright, guys, somewhere through this process I decided not to mop the shoulder. I don't know if you can see real well, but when I turned this over the first time, it was a puddle on top of it. So you can kind of see down in the crack right there. There's puddles of fat and liquid, and this thing doesn't need to be moist with other liquid. It's just doing just fine. Alright, and the ribs are starting to kind of fall off the bone. Guys, it's only been 4 hours for those ribs. Those thick beef ribs, they're basically done. Okay, so again, the nice thing about this smoker is you don't have to smoke for hours and hours and hours. I'm thinking about foiling that shoulder just to keep some smoke off it, maybe. Give it a little bit more heat and let it steam inside itself. But let's see, it's 5.5 hours, so it's doing great. It's doing fantastic. Back at you in a little while. Alright, as you see there, guys, the temperature's crept up to about 275 degrees. It actually went up higher than that. It went up past 300 degrees there. Okay, what had happened when I had the lid off and I was showing you guys the meat, I decided to foil it, and I had the lid off to foil it, and the charcoals caught back on fire. So this established more heat in the barrel, but not to worry. I just foiled the meat, and I go ahead and put the knockout in all 3 spaces, and it's coming down now. No problem. Plus it's all double wrapped in aluminum foils, just like preheating the meat. So no panics, just kind of showing you again how this is working. 3 knockouts in there, and that temperature is going to fall back down. Probably about 230 in about 20 minutes. So it's coming down as we're speaking now, but I also want to talk about losing heat as well as increasing the heat. And I had told you before that when you take the lid off, you're going to lose heat. Momentarily, of course, with any smoker, you're going to lose the initial heat balance that's in the smoker. Now with a barrel smoker or charcoal smoker, what's going to happen is when you take the lid off, what's going to happen is, like I said, you're going to lose your initial heat balance like any other smoker. However, this smoker is designed to choke off the charcoal briquettes or whatever medium you have in there, wood or whatever, choke it off. It allows you a slow smoke, a slow burn. That's why this smoker will smoke for 20 plus hours at 220 degrees with no problems. However, if you take that lid off for any amount of time, you're actually going to not starve the charcoals, and you're going to allow a lot of air to get in there really quick. And you want to do that when you're initially starting the charcoals, of course, but not when you're smoking it. So don't ever forget to put your lid back on. I mean, to have it off 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, while you're doing something is okay, and you'll be able to manage that heat to come back down. If you forget, go get a phone call, go grab a beer, and forget you got 10 pounds of charcoal in here that's going to ignite. Okay, it's going to flame up. It's going to come up to 500 degrees. And then you got a situation you're trying to save your barbecue or save your food. So I just want to explain that, because earlier I had mentioned you take the lid off, you're going to lose heat. And then later I mentioned you take the lid off and you're going to gain heat. And rather than annotate that, I just wanted to go ahead and explain a little bit through that. So no worries though. This went up to 300 degrees. We caught it. It's coming back down. And like we saw before, boom, right where we want to be. So next step is to unfoil it in about an hour and a half. Let it go for about another hour. We're done. Okay, gang, we got barbecue here. This pork shoulder, it's coming up to temperature. I'm going to rewrap the foil. Just let it cool a little bit. It's coming up to about 200 degrees. And beef ribs are falling off the bone. They're a little dark, but that's a dark chili powder rub that we put on there. So I don't have no more time, guys. I'm going to go eat some barbecue. Getting the fixings all ready. So this is it. If you guys want to share rub recipes, you want me to tell you what I use for rub recipes, if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Make a comment, say hi, subscribe, whatever you'd like to do. Again, this is Fab 5. I'm going to go eat me some barbecue. You guys have a nice evening. Take care. Peace.